Hey, ladies, how are we doing today?
Hey girls, hey.
Just like that, we're back.
Like we never left.
Like we never left. So, how's everyone been doing?
Hey, good.
Doing good.
All
Doing
right.
good.
Might.
Hey, Bravado. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Bravado. Whoop, whoop. The man of the hour.
The man of the hour. So, what have you guys been up to since the last time we met? It's supposed to be springtime, whether it feels like it or not. So, what have you been up to since the last time we met?
Freezing. Oh, okay. Waiting on
said you
spring to
freezing.
actually come.
Waiting for spring to actually come.
What is happening outside? But that's it, just working, grinding. You know how it is. Getting this money, honey.
I agree. What about you, Doc?
I am on spring break. Hashtag DND. Do
Do
not
not
disturb.
disturb.
That's
This is
right.
what I'm on. I am on my DND mode right now. Just don't even bother me. If you just need me, I'll talk to you. But otherwise, I am Netflix chilling, tubiing. I'm doing all that stuff that has nothing to do with using this here.
And you said Tubian. That's a whole new activity I didn't know.
Hey,
Oh my gosh. Well, you're gonna have to put us on to the good Tubi movies.
Check out my Facebook. I done dropped about three. 'Cause I watched three of them.
I know that's right, Doc. Get
Yeah,
it. You deserve that, okay?
thank you, sis.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And shout out to our educators. I hope for those of you that are on spring break,
Yes.
you're enjoying all of it because there's a couple of parents counting down to when they can send them back.
And
Facts.
guess
Right.
what? We are counting down the days to school end. So y'all can keep counting down because we counting down some other days, but that's a whole other story.
No, another story. And what about you, Miscommunication? What have you been up to?
Nothing really. Just
No,
kind of like
wow.
no, really, just nothing really. Just work, work, home, homework, work, home. That's it.
Gotcha.
I don't
Grinding
think
and
so.
living, grinding and living.
That's it.
I
That's
gotcha.
all.
Yeah.
So today our topic is how do we expect our men to lead? And I'm just gonna warn y'all right now, we're gonna get deep, but I definitely know we're not gonna be able to touch all aspects of this topic. Because there's layers to it. There's layers to it. So shout out to my lower corner box, Tay, because sometimes she has this magical forest in her mind and she comes up with these topics.
I do. I do.
All right, so ladies, before we get into it, let me ask you, right? What do you, and I'm gonna start with you, Tay, so let me tell you ahead of time so you could get ready.
Okay.
What is leadership in a relationship to you?
Dang, that's a
I
hard question.
told you I was
No,
coming.
but because it's been a long since I actually been in a relationship. But so what I remember of it was we speaking from experience. So, I think what it looks like for me is basically it's a bunch of action. So like you showing me certain things, like you're a doer more so than a talker, or what you're going to tell me you're going to do, or whatever the case may be, because I'm motivated by what I see you do, not what I hear you say. So I think
Absolutely.
that if I'm going to model a behavior in a relationship, then it would have to be something where I feel like it would be, a positive, um, sort of a habit like that is just okay. Well, I'm gonna just do it. She ain't gonna have to ask me for it. Like it's done. I know it needs to happen, so I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna ask anyone. You know, if you move like that, then I'm gonna just start moving like that because I see you moving like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
so that's I think short answer. That's kind of how.
Oh no, that was good. That was very
Okay,
good.
okay, I'm working on it.
Doc, do you have a response?
I'm going to piggyback off of my sister, Coach Tay, and say that it does require a lot of action. But I will also include that in order to lead, there is sacrifice that has to occur. And sacrifice occurs on both parties. But I'll leave that. Get back
That
to
was good. That was that. She said, "Let me leave you with a cliffhanger."
Right.
All right, miscommunication.
So in a relationship, I feel as though the leadership standpoint is about responsibility. So you are responsible for what goes on in our situation, right? Whether it be, making sure that things, all needs are met, or, if you require help, you ask for it, whatever it is. But it's all about being responsible to the person that you are involved with. So if it's, with the man, it's like making sure that we're good. That's your biggest responsibility, is making sure that the two of us in this relationship, are good. That's the major point about leadership when it comes to relationships for me.
Okay. Well, of course, my view on leadership is I feel there's layers. It's not in a box, but I definitely believe that. And, I'm going to sound like an echo to you ladies, but in order to be a great leader, you also have to be a great follower. I don't think it has to always be a submission where it's like a control. There is a submission, but not a controlling factor. And just like leadership in a career, leadership in a relationship is inspire me. Where are we going? Where are we taking this relationship to? Help me to believe in what you see for us, right? Whether us is 2, 4, some dogs, whatever, right? I'm just saying, us could be a different thing. Unfortunately, um, I think leadership gets convoluted with dictatorship. With a hey, so I have a penis, so I make the money, so do as I say. But where are we going? Where are you leading me to? So I think leadership is not a boss, a control, I control you. Leadership is inspiring us to do better and want better and have better. And I don't mean like from $1 to $100, but just better. And then all the little things you said too, responsibility and all that other.
But can we agree that leadership takes vision?
Absolutely. I think
I
that's
got one better than you.
Yeah.
Leadership takes knowing thyself.
Well,
You
yeah,
have to be
absolutely.
empowered by self
But
first.
what I'm saying is that there's a lot of times, if you're, I can't say I've been in a situation, but I can see where someone will, a man will say, well, you know what, I'm the leader. Okay, well, what is the vision? What are we doing?
Well, if
The vision for our relationship is the part that I'm talking about, like the vision for what it is, because you can want to lead all day. That's what you want to do all day. But if you have
more importantly, is he including you in that vision? Because
that too, yes, because
okay.
Because a lot of times with these situations right here, the way I'm thinking about it when it comes to these relationships is that there needs to be a partnership, right? And if we're in a partnership and you are designated as the leader, you need to have what direction is this thing? What's the direction? Because I can only follow if you know where you're going. If you're not following,
exactly.
Where are we going? Where are we?
Well, here's the part that I don't think, and I understand we're in 2024 and relationships come in different, right? It could be hetero, whatever. and others. But I think the thing that a lot of times that the female does not express to the male, maybe the male does not understand, is before any of that happened, there has to be a sense of safety. I have to feel safe that you got me where we're going. And I think a lot of times, and it sounds crazy because Tyrone just said, who says I'm the leader? There are a lot of guys who come out and say, I'm the leader. There's plenty. And you're just like, dude, don't talk about it. Be about it.
Thank you. But you're not, okay?
The title, I think, is more. I think some people sometimes the title, like I said, the title is more important than the role. And it's like, no, the title is the role.
Right.
that's the whole thing. It's like, in order
for but a woman doesn't give a man the title of leadership. He should step in. Does that mean now she may not give him the space to be a leader? That's a different thing.
Right.
But that's just like how people go, I'm a nice person. You don't have to say that. If you are, we're gonna see it. You don't have to say it. So, but yeah, I think that a lot of times what's missing for leadership to be activated, one of the things, because there's plenty, one of the things that's missing is the feeling of safety, which comes with trust, respect, so forth, so on, so on. So. But yeah, so did you guys see leadership in your lives growing up?
Sure.
That you want to emulate? Anybody? I just went like this. Yeah, whoever catches it, catches it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've seen it, but not like in my home per se, because, you know, my mother was the head of my household. That's just my situation. But I saw, you know, male leaders in action in my community, in my church, in my little town, even in my family, just not necessarily within my household that I grew up in. But yeah, I've seen it, and it looks, I'm like, oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to be. But growing up, you don't know that. Just like when you grow up in poverty, you have no idea until you get out of it that you grew up in it, so it's one of those situations that that's just all you know. And you just think that's how it's supposed to be until you see something different. And then once I was exposed to other family dynamics that was around me, I said, oh, okay, well, that's different. So there is a possibility, and then it just opened my mind up to other things. And just because this is how it was for me doesn't necessarily mean this is how it may be for mine, hopefully. But yeah.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
What about you, Miscommunication?
So my mother and father have been together for a very long time. And the reason why it works for them is because they both have their jobs. My father would, if you ask him, he definitely consider himself a leader, the leader of the family, right? My mother would also say that, yes, your father is the leader of the family. But I know more than I know that a lot of my father's, not even so much decisions, but the way he moved, I wouldn't say my mother manipulated him, because that's not right either. That's not the right term. But my father was the head, but she was the neck. So she made that thing move where it needed to move. Or
I'm gonna say she was the heart. I don't know why we steer away from the heart. I don't know
that too. But I mean, I want to say, like, when I say the neck, is like if my father, it was a decision that needed to be made about the family, my father would say, okay, this is a decision that I've made. And she would go, okay, well, what about this? Or what about that? Or what about this? What about that? So
she was like a GPS almost.
Right. That's exactly, listen, let me say something. That's exactly what my mother and father, in their relationship, that's exactly what she is.
But that's how it's supposed to be, though,
my father literally, like, if my father gets in the car and my mother has to be right next to him.
That's my father.
No, my father will tell anybody on the planet. My father says, I am the muscle, my wife is the brain. So that's how we get things done around here. So she goes, okay, this is so he might say, okay, we need to get a new washing machine. And she'll go, okay, well, what do we want this washing machine to do? And then they go on and whatever. But ultimately, that's what the thing. So he'll say, this is what we need to do. And she says, okay, well, let's hatch a plan. And then together we'll execute this plan. So I'm not saying my father was never, when I say he's never a leader, it was almost like my mother just knew how to straighten that line up and make sure that that line was focused and we still going in the right direction. So that's how I saw, leadership in that part,
Got you. What about you, Royal?
So hold on.
I'm
Pull
about to
that
say, because
back
right
up.
there, you could say it's corny, but it's the truth because they've been married for 47 years.
Well, I think
So,
everyone's dynamic is different.
So
Go ahead, Royal.
so for me specifically, and my perspective might be a bit interesting tonight. But for me, yes, I did see leadership in my home. My father was the leader, and then when my parents divorced, my mom became a single mom, to piggyback off of, again, Coach Tay and her perspective. But one thing about that, even though that dynamic occurred, if there she was a single parent in the sense of my father not being in the home, but they definitely did a great job, I'll say, as far as co-parenting is concerned. So if I stepped out of line for the sake of conversation, which I did, if I stepped out of line, then if it was to at a certain extent that she felt like she needed to use some muscle, I'm gonna use miscommunications term, then she would call in the heavy, and he would come in, and oftentimes one particular situation, um I'm like, why are you even including him in this is he's not even in this house, um but I'm about to get lit up because you calling him in for enforcement. Girl, so anyway, so for me, yeah, I can say that yes, I did see leadership. I do have an interesting perspective on leadership because my perspective of leadership comes from truly the Bible, and that's going to be my premise tonight. So yeah, so I'm gonna lend it to you, my friend.
So for me, did I see leadership? I did. In my own household, I did not. Um, and both of my parents had childhood trauma, which is why they played the roles that they played. So my mom was in a household where her parents separated, but her dad still was the head. She just didn't like that he did that from outside the home. And it took me a while to kind of piece that together for my mother. My dad grew up in an environment where he saw lots of men leading in a toxic way. And so that made him steer away from it. A lot of the men in his family were alcoholics. A lot of men in his family were violent with the women they were with. And he was not raised by his father, but he used to watch his father be abusive to his wife, so forth and so on. So you're talking about a woman coming together where she goes, if my mom had more muscle, she'd be able to do more than what she did. And a man that's like, I never want to make a woman subservient to me and hurt her and blah, blah. So that we did that. However, I definitely did have lots of examples of leadership, lots of examples of what to do and what not to do, right? The thing that gets me, I don't know if the word is iffy about leadership, men leading, is it's the lack of balance when it comes to leadership, right? I feel everyone has a role, but oftentimes when I hear males talking about leadership, it's like, I got it, I'll do it, like very me, instead of you're leading us, right? Leadership comes to me with a sense of knowing who you are, which I said before, right? If you are not pouring into you, how can you pour into us? That's a part of leadership. You got to lead yourself the right way also. I don't believe in a head and a neck. I believe in a head and a heart. In leadership also, those roles are super important, and I'm not minimizing it, because for me, the heart would direct the neck. And to me, the heart is the one that inspires the man to keep going. So, yeah, leadership still requires a balance. And sometimes that's, I think, is what's lacking in a relationship with leadership. It's the lack of balance, the lack of everyone has a role, and knowing how to identify that role so that we could work together. So
I have a question. Do you think
I
that
have a question.
Yeah. Do you think that generational issues have a lot to do with the way leadership is looked at? Like nowadays, I'm trying to figure out the right way to frame it so that makes sense. But nowadays, I feel as though the generation, like our parents' generation, even generation before them, had a different situation going on, and now our generation and the generation moving forward, dealing with that whole leadership thing. Do you think that there's a difference in terms of that?
Are you asking me directly or just
I'm
anybody?
asking everybody directly. I'm just asking because I feel as though the way things, I think because there's been so many women out here now that have to do it on their own and been doing it on their own and trying to figure out how to get things done on their own. You think that has anything to do with the lack of leadership? I'm trying to figure out how to frame it so it makes sense.
I think,
So you're saying
It makes sense how you said it.
Okay, yeah, no, I was trying to make sure. So clarifying question. So are you asking, like, do we think the sort of generational trauma has an impact on our thoughts of leadership or
the lack of example of leadership,
right, or the way they're leading now, or the
yeah, right. So like if a young man has never watched somebody lead to lead,
yes, because a woman cannot teach a man to be a man.
Okay.
She could do her damn best. She could do her damn best. Right? Okay. And this is okay. It's just like I used to tell my ex. He'd be like, "Oh, go talk to the kids because they're not respecting me." Well, they just gonna respect me more after I check them. They're not gonna respect you. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing. A mother being a single parent to a man is just her showing him, "I, your mother, am doing this." Not, "Hey, and when you get into your own situations, you should do boo 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 boo."
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tay.
No, I was just gonna say it should also, in addition to what you were saying, it should also be like, well, when your father speaks, he doesn't have to yell. Because first of all, he's speaking to you. So that in itself demands and his your respect. And you better listen to whatever is coming out of his mouth, even if it's just 2 words. You know what I mean? So those are the things that, like, that fear. And it's not like, oh, I'm afraid of you. It's the fear of God. Like, I respect you. Like, okay, whatever you say, like, I'm following you. You the man. I'm not gonna question it. Like, I'm gonna just do what you say. Type.
But did you hear how you said that? I don't want you to lose that. You said you should say, like when your father talks, blah 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 blah. Right? Those are things that need to be supported by the female and other people in that situation. You can't be like, "Your daddy ain't beep beep and did and boop boop."
Exactly.
That doesn't work. That doesn't support the leadership, right?
Yeah. Which is why that trauma that has a direct impact on how we operate as women on this side, and how the males are operating as well, because they're hearing the opposite side. Like, well, whatever, I'm gonna just do whatever because it don't matter anyway. I mean, I don't know what the mentality is.
I think
that's how they acting.
Again, leadership. Are you inspiring the people that you're leading? You don't just.
Are you inspiring those to respect you? Is basically what it comes down to.
But in your leadership, are you also respecting those that you're leading? Because it's also not a dominance thing. Again, I'm going to repeat, in order to be a great leader, you also need to be a great follower, period. There are times as a leader, I know I got to listen to my partner. I don't always have the answer. Right? Exactly. Okay. That is where it is. It's like, and then Bravado said something, so I don't want to miss it. We got a couple of comments where he said, because I think I'm the one who said the me. One of us said it. That's because we men feel responsible. So that's why you get the language me. We don't mean me, but the me comes from feeling responsible. And
thank you, Bravado.
Bravado, that was fantastic. But then I'm not doubting, because that's why you see I highlighted that. I think in a communication, you also have to learn your communication rhythm also, right? What am I saying? What is that person hearing?
Nope. So I'm gonna put a pause in here, if I may, so I can go and say what I got to say. Then I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna really be quiet tonight, for the most part, maybe, because Truly, and I sincerely mean this, and I'm sure my husband is watching. Seriously, Ephesians speaks to, and I told y'all my perspective comes strictly from the Bible. Ephesians speak to the fact that the man is the head of the house. Head of the house in the sense of what we're talking about today, being leaders. Okay. Not piggybacking off of what you spoke to, Pearl. Not that he is the dominant one that's like you must do and he's oppressing the wife or the woman in this relationship. That's not what was the original design of men being leaders. Okay. Now, miscommunication, you asked the question a few moments ago about the translation over these generations. Dear, I sincerely believe that what has happened over generations is that in the beginning there was a sound understanding of Ephesians. And what happened is in some situations, because we spoke to this, some people took it as you must submit to me. And that's when the whole oppressive actions became okay in some situations, not in all situations, but in some situations, right? But what has happened is over these generations, the translation that has transpired, um, things have become a bit convoluted. Women have become more dominant. Women don't want to hear what the man has to say. I told you I'm gonna take it. And y'all might not agree with me, and that's cool. I'm gonna still love you, and because that's how we operate. But we as women, oftentimes, we don't want to hear what the man has to say. And so, what tends to happen is he'll make a suggestion. He may take the initiative to do X, Y, and Z, but because he didn't do it the way we wanted him to do it or how we wanted him to do it, then we're giving him slack. Ladies, we're not allowing, ladies, as for you guys in general, we're not allowing our men to be the leaders that they were ordained to be. It was not our role and our position theologically for us to be the leaders. We are submissive in the sense of we allow our men to lead us through action, and I can elaborate on that later. But there are varying aspects of leadership as far as things that should be taking place, from decision making to management to even when it comes down to the bedroom. But again, I'm gonna segment myself. But for the sake of this conversation piece, yes, what I find is we have at this point in our lives and in this generation have been conditioned that we feel like we have to be in control. It is not our place to be in control. And yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, it is a matter of hearing what your mate is sharing with you. And it should be some balance, right? What I heard you all say is he says what he says. We as women, we may interject our thoughts and perspectives because it should be a shared vision. I completely agree. We have to be on one accord as far as like where we're going and how we're going to get there, and what it should look like in the end, because that's what the vision is. The vision is what it looks like in the end. And so we should be on one accord with that. But again, we have to allow our men to do just that. And unfortunately, in this season, that is not what is happening. And so that is why so many of our women are single or choosing to be single. And I did air quotes because I hear a lot of women say that I choose to be single, and that's your prerogative. But some of it has to do with not being able to be led, because they're not leading us the way we want to be led. Come on, miscommunication. I see her face.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me let miscommunication.
She burning, and Tay is looking at me with fire in her eyes.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying to the degree, but here's my thing. I'm not following if you can't.
If you can't lead.
If
No.
you can't lead. Because it's your job to lead, if we're gonna call it a job, and we'll put it in quotes and all them things like that.
Mhm.
And but I can't follow you if we're not going the direction that we're going in ain't right. I can't. I'm sorry. It's not. That's not a thing. I have an internal GPS, and it's just that simple. It's not even so. It's just that simple. I'm not saying. I mean, it's the qualifications to lead. That's all. If you are qualified to lead, I will follow you down, and I will follow you down every road, all the time, and everything. But if you have not, go ahead, Black.
So what are the you said?
Yeah, Pearl. Go ahead, do it. Because for me, it's not even so.
Mine is a simple question. It's okay.
See, for me, I'm not opposed to. Listen, here's the thing. I'm not. See, what thing is that there seems to be this thing where there's an opposition of following, because that's what it. Because let's if we take the lead part away and we just talk about following. Are we as women able to follow?
Boom! You took.
That's the most important thing, because you can have somebody who's a leader and has nobody, and there's nobody behind them. Because
hold on, we ain't on the chopping block this week. We talking about leadership.
No, but that's the point.
Okay. So the question that we need to answer, the question we need to answer, which we will at a later time or later, is can a woman follow? Because that's also you need to be able to do that too. Okay.
Because bigger than anything. Because you could be a leader all day, but if ain't nobody following you,
then you're not a leader, which is what I said. If you're not,
there's nobody following you, Jack, and that's the thing.
And to your go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna say I do agree with what Doc was saying about the women as a whole, just holistically. You're right. You're absolutely right. We are not letting the men lead. But I also will say, to add to that, there's not a lot of men capable of actually leading these days. Now, not that I've seen, that I've come in across. I'm just where y'all at? Okay, we're the ones that can lead.
Where they at?
Where they at?
At this point, it's just like, no, honestly, it's just don't come to me if you don't have a vision of your life, period. And also, if you don't include me into that vision. So if that's not a thing, then we don't have anything to even discuss. Okay. Like that's what I'm saying. Don't waste my time. That's a part of leadership too, respecting my time.
So miscommunication said, are you qualified to lead?
That's a good point. And some men are not, based upon their action, because I'm all about objectivity. I don't do subjectivity. I've said that several times on this show too. I don't get caught up in emotion as far as certain things are concerned. Show me. I need to see evidence, right? And so based on evidence, if you have not demonstrated and shown me that you are capable of leading, case in point, I think it was miscommunication. Because this is one of the things that men should be doing as leaders, is taking the initiative. Was it Coach Tay? One of my beautiful sisters over here made the comment, if you see something that needs to be done, you just do it, right? Okay. Now, with that being said, there are some young men who, which we just mentioned, never seen, because some of us that we really didn't see it in our homes, right? Had never seen a male leading correctly. Let me say that too, or a male leading period in a household. So therefore, no fault to his own, but he don't know how to lead. Because he hasn't had a role model, doesn't know what it looks like. Now, in those situations, for those individuals who don't know how to lead, then you are absolutely right. Proverbs speak to that. You don't follow somebody that don't know what they doing. They say, what's that? The blind leading the blind, and you're gonna fall in a ditch. Nope, you go in the ditch. I'm gonna go hit the highway. So
but is that the right place for you? So you find a partner and the partner doesn't know how to lead. You need to understand that you're not in the right situation.
You are unevenly yoked, and you need to find yourself your nearest exit and exit off of that ramp or exit out of that door.
Right.
Absolutely. So yes, I strongly agree with you. Miscommunication. Yeah, everybody doesn't have, and Pearl, you mentioned this about just maturity. Everybody hasn't found themselves or know how to go about being leaders, as far as men are concerned. And again, sometimes it can come later.
Yeah, well, development.
It's a development process, right?
Yeah.
But while they are developing, if I'm gonna go on a limb here and say, if there's a smidge of leadership in that person, you catch a little glimpse.
He can rock. He can rock.
Right. Because
can we rock? Can we?
Yeah, I think
we want it to be like, and I'm
that's the thing.
I'm being devil's advocate here.
That's the thing. I'm trying. What I was saying earlier is like, it's like it might come off as that, but it's like, remember, I'm a lot older, so I've gone through a lot, a lot of other stuff. But what I'm saying is that when you find that person, and women, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That person that you, yes, I will follow you. Yes, because you have all of the pieces of the puzzle, whether it be 3 pieces, 10 pieces, puzzles come in different pieces with a lot of pieces. Once he becomes that person and you follow him and you know that, okay, this guy, he's leading with love, he's leading with honesty, he's leading with, he's making sure we're okay. Yes, I'll follow you. Go ahead, Tay. What happened?
So, quick question. No, I love where this is going.
And when you finish, I have a question from Facebook.
Throw a wrench in there real quick. Okay, so following up on Doc, and giving the flip side to that, but also adding to what you just said, miscommunication. So, what if, so for instance, we were talking about the young man not knowing what it looked like, right?
Yes,
you don't know what it looked like. So, what if, Susie grew up in a household and she doesn't know what it looks like to be a wife, but she aspires to be one when she grows up. How do we reconcile the two, guys? You see what I'm saying? So
do you give her the chance to learn how to follow and
let baby girl heal? Let my man figure out, find him.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna find myself. But when I talk about self-love, y'all think I'm insane.
Well, that goes with the question I said I wanted to address.
I got you.
It's very necessary on both ends. You need to find out who you are, baby. Okay, don't come to me with no mess. All I'm saying is nobody's gonna be perfect, but we gotta be able to be together and hey, this is what I'm still dealing with. This is what I'm still dealing with. All right, boo.
Yeah, but a lot of times we want the ready-made person, not realizing
there's no such thing.
But that is how yes, we know that here, right now, in this moment. But when you meet that person, do you realize, hey, this is how leadership worked in the other situation? We still gotta give
that man some grace. We understand that. We hear y'all.
Yes.
Give that man some grace, but also give that woman some grace. Okay, she might not.
She might not know.
Well, Susie grew up looking at domestic violence, so she don't know what it looks like to be a wife, an actual wife, to sit and
I also think sometimes you have men that come in a situation and they don't hear the trauma that person has been, and the other way around too, but they don't hear the trauma the person's been on, right? I've had to lead. I had to do this. I've been in survival mode for 20 years or 10 years or 5 years, right? And then they get in there for 2.5 says like, nah, she combative. I gotta go.
Right.
Right. Aggressive. I'm not.
Right. Sir, do you know what I had to deal with right now? Do you know what I was dealing with?
But it goes the same way the other way around.
It goes the same way.
But do we see that?
Bravado. Do we see that?
I think that's reasonable. Bravado. That's reasonable.
But honestly, even with that comment about the 12 months of grace, I mean, listen. The thing about it is that you got to see people, we always say we got to see people in all their stages, right? All their seasons.
Yeah, and
when things are good, when things are bad.
Yeah, at least at minimum 3 seasons with you.
Because I got to see your seasons. But when it comes to, like I said, like we said, we've already said leadership has to come with vision, has to come with the responsibility to do such. Accountability, right? Accountability.
Sacrifice,
accountability on both ends, right?
Trustworthiness, all that.
All these things, because people think that just walking down the street and saying, I'm a leader.
But you're not.
It doesn't come with a bunch of stuff behind. It comes with a whole backpack of stuff. It comes with a bunch of tools that you have to have in order for the leadership to actually succeed. Because you could be a leader of a company that goes under. You could be the leader of a company that goes under because you were ill qualified to do so.
But here's the thing. Say that person is qualified
Mm-hmm.
and you still go under. Are you going to bounce because y'all went under? Are you going to give that man hell because y'all went under? Well, I was following you, and now look what you done led us into. Hell.
Well, it usually sounds like, and I agree with you. It usually sounds like you didn't.
So you blame everything on him. Well, here's the thing. And this is what I was talking about earlier when it comes to my mom and dad.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what I was talking about earlier. My father was saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. The two of them came together and come up with a plan, right? So, because again, a coach, like you said, coach is only a person that helps the person reach their goals, right? But it's up to the people that's on that team to come together to win. If we're gonna win, we gotta do this thing together. We can't do this. He can't do this by himself, and neither can I.
Water, but you got the drink.
That's right.
But y'all both have to be on the same page of what that win looks like.
100%. So what does that come with? Talking, communication.
Yeah, but you know what else comes with the leadership as a follower, and vice versa. Baby, I'm scared. I don't know, or I'm not sure. I'm not whatever. Right? Right. Because technically, when a woman is not everybody, I'm not scooping y'all all in, but technically, when a woman has that difficulty following, she's scared.
Right. Because she doesn't understand. She may not understand your vision.
Open her mouth and say, "Baby, I don't know." Explain what's happening.
Or maybe she did, and that turned you off because she said she was
good point.
But here's the deal. Do you need to understand everything?
No.
Case in point, if my husband, and he has checked me from time to time because I can be a little mouthy.
A little.
It's fine. A little.
Okay.
Because a lot of stuff he don't even pay me no mind. He'll call me a fool in a minute, and because audience, y'all, if you are faithful watchers, you know how I am. So a lot of stuff he'd be like, "Girl, you just foolish," and he'll keep on going, right? But if there is something that he is committed on doing, and I threw my little 2 cents in, which he didn't really need, he would tell me in a very, very loving way, "Why would you say that?" And he'll look at me, and the military will come across, and he'll be straight face. And when he give me that straight face, I know that's daddy. I do. I know that's daddy.
I definitely have moments like that.
And when daddy say what he say, mama mama shut right on down, and I mind my place, and I let daddy handle whatever. And guess what? If it work out, it works out. And if it doesn't, okay, well, guess what, baby? It didn't work out. I won't say, because I don't do. I told you so's. Not in that moment. Now, after we done repaired and healed, I might circle back around and be like, "Dog, didn't I tell you?" But in that very moment, no,
it's not necessary.
That's not what's needed.
No, exactly. That's not what's needed.
And here's the other thing in relationships.
Go ahead, boo.
In those relationships, and something you said, Royal triggered. It takes a lot of forgiveness and grace, like the forgiveness of, okay, you didn't get it right this time, whatever. We're just 4 women in a world full of women,
diverse women.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I also believe you can be the person that is the breadwinner, like make the most money, and still allow your man to lead.
Yes.
Right. It's not about those things. And the DNA, the way a man is set up, that is almost required. It probably is. Let me just go over the line. It's required.
Ladies, let that man lead, okay?
Let him lead. We want to be in our soft girl era. You can't do that from the leadership role. You got to be back here a little bit. You got to be
soften up a little bit. Everything that you
legs and just.
You ain't got to tell them.
Just sit there, but Right. A lot. Well, I get what
One
you're
of the
saying.
things we think, they really don't care
No,
to
no,
hear.
I'm just showing what Bravado said.
They just love you.
Hello.
That's all.
I think also some of my experience is sometimes a woman asks a man like, "What's happening? Why this? Whatever," and it's almost taken as you're doubting their leadership. So
But
I guess.
if you gotta ask,
Trust
you
the
are.
process.
But what if I don't believe in the vision anymore?
You believe your package is gonna be delivered by UPS, don't you?
No,
You
I
believe
don't.
Come on, coach.
You can believe that man when he tell you, "I got this, babe." You know, that's all.
And you just stand on that. Good.
Yeah, and again, that's knowing how to follow. And again,
But that also comes with trust. And once you got that, that's the thing. You have to trust that he got it.
That's trustworthy.
I trust you. I trust that you got it. So I'm not even gonna worry about it. That part right there, that's where
and you showing me time and time again that I
Correct.
can.
So consistency,
and you gonna be there to catch.
So consistency allows you to trust the person that is ordained to lead. Did we get that right?
It just doesn't happen overnight. I think that's
it doesn't
happen overnight.
It doesn't, because even when you was talking about Doc, it's like the reason why he gave you that look is because he's probably shown you time and time again he got this.
Right, like girl.
So why are you doubting me right now? Okay, fine. I won't doubt you. Do your thing. Okay, when it don't work out, listen. My job is not to say I told you so, because that I told you so thing that don't help nobody no way. That never helps.
Well, here's a real question. All right, it probably not gonna work for Doc. Doc, you got to think back because you've been married for a while.
I can think back. Yeah, I can go back in the day.
Everybody has something that's stopping them from being the effective follower that they need to be on this panel.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Say that.
Have you identified that thing that's stopping you, or the barrier for the men who try to come in your life from leading you?
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is. I know it right now.
Well, let's start with Doc because she's obviously conquered.
Okay. Because in my mastermind, I have the answers. I got it. Like I'm in my workplace, I try to be 2 steps ahead for different reasons, but obvious reasons. And so within my relationship, I do the same thing. I try to be 2 steps ahead. So in that scenario, when baby said, why did you say that? That was stupid.
I'm sorry.
No, you can laugh because he does. He talks like he don't do it often. It's just when he needs.
Yeah, I know it's in love.
Yeah, it's a cute. Yeah, no,
that's his way of chin checking me without popping me.
Me. Right.
Yeah, but that's his way of chin checking me to like fall back. I got this.
I love it.
But it's because in mentally, I know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
When in all actuality, none of us are perfect. We've established that. Even the men aren't perfect, but I'm prohibiting him from being great because I'm running my mouth and I just need to shut up and let him handle his business.
So the mouthy part that you were talking about before.
Yeah, because I think I got the answers and I don't have
it. Still struggle with that
from time to time, but again,
he'll be checking you. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, he'll check me if I get too far ahead. He'll check me, but normally he'll do what he need to do and just and he'll just keep on.
Okay, what about you, miscommunication?
So a lot of times it's fear for me.
Okay.
That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to for me. Fear. Like I'm not. So trust and fear walk to me in hand, right? So do I trust you enough to follow, or am I afraid that if I follow, we might go down the wrong path? That's not even a thing about what man it is, because I feel as though there are great men out there, and there's some ones that are not good at all. That isn't anything, right? But when you find somebody who's really good and you can follow, it takes so much weight off your back and so much weight off of who, like you don't have to be all the time on or you don't have to be all of that. I don't have to be all of that. I could just, sit back and let it happen. But for me, it's always been fear, allowing someone else to have that much, not even so much control, but that much, okay, I'll use the word control then. Control onto what is going to happen. Because I'm trying to figure out another word, but it does sound like control.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Tay?
I feel so exposed.
Did you say exposed?
I do.
Yes. She feels like her whole thing is open.
Healing from this thing. But trust. So I have a hard time trusting men, and that's the whole species, child. Okay.
The whole species?
Literally, and it has nothing to do with like the next man. It's like some daddy trauma that I'm healing from, like presently still, because it's a work in progress, and so am I. But yeah, so meaning like I don't believe nothing you say. If you a man, period. You gotta show me some things, okay? Meaning that's why I'm so big on action, I think, because you can tell me till you're blue in the face that you love me, but if I don't feel like you do, if ain't no action behind in that and supporting that, like that's making me feel like you do, or I can see it in physical form that you do. Like you standing in front of my face, maybe, then yeah, I don't believe you. So yeah, I have a hard time trusting.
Okay. So for me, I don't have what people label so much as daddy issues. I just don't. My challenge is I feel like me personally, I'm a crunch and chew, right? I'm real hard on the outside when you first meet me, but I'm real soft on the inside. But my issue is I've never been safe. Okay. So I grew up with a mother and father in my household, but my mom had narcissistic tendencies. So her leadership came with strings, right? Because remember, I told you she was the lead in the house. Then I married my first boyfriend and was with him for years, and he was a narcissist. Surprise. Again, his leadership took us places I don't even want to remember right now. You know what I mean? And so I've never been in a situation where someone has said that they're going to lead me in my life. I mean, not present, but that they're going to lead me. And it was with safety. It was not that there was strings attached. It was not because they wanted something in return or they used it to control me. And it didn't look like a normal control. It was like, softly, let me build the trust and then got you, right? Almost like when Tom is trying to get Jerry right? It's the same thing. And I'm being real with you, right? And so what that has created in me is a hardness, but my natural softness doesn't go away. It can't go. It's me. It's in me. So it kind of does here. And so what I do in exchange, which is part of survival mode, is I give it, never allowing that. You know what I mean? Like I keep giving that leadership, giving it and giving it and giving it, because I'm like, I'm gonna just keep giving it because apparently I'm not getting it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so in the process of that survival mode of constantly giving it, I don't stop to let it be given back to me. So I think that's what it is. I'm not like rah with dudes. I'm not like rah with dudes, but definitely dudes are like, she's already strong enough. Okay, let me just go this way and call it a day.
So do you think that your strength? Do you think that strength sometimes is a hindrance in terms of intimidation for dudes who might want to lead, but they look at you and go, "Well,
me, right?"
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
And I've been told, I made that face because I've been told that multiple times. But the thing is, once I'm told, I'm like, did I? Oh my God. Because I don't see it. It's what I do. It's my survival mode. So I'm learning. I'm learning. So, yeah.
So Pearl, can I share with you guys, there ladies, what Bravado said?
He said, walk and chew gum at the same time, Tay. Get your man and do the work in the therapy. Do the work in therapy at the same time. We are all running out of time. Boy,
I'm doing my best.
We're running out of time on a clock we can't see.
I'm doing my best, sir. Lord knows.
And then Bravado again said, let's not forget, trust is a choice and love is an action. Yes. Well said, sir. Okay.
So if you ladies will allow me, there are 9 ways in which men lead. Can I share those 9 ways?
Sure.
So men lead with love, or let me say, this is how men should be leading.
Should lead.
Okay, based on our topic tonight. So men should lead with love. Men should lead with initiation, which is what Tay spoke to, and miscommunication as well. You do because you just see things that need to be done. They should lead by example, lead by management, and this is when we're talking about within the home and even within their work life, being able to balance home and work, right? Being able to lead spiritually. That is so important, but that's a whole other day,
Very
a whole
important.
other conversation.
Mhm.
Lead morally, because one thing, and this is what miscommunication was talking about, the blind leading the blind. What you don't want to do, and again, this is a whole other conversation for a whole other day. These young girls, I forget what rap song it is, but the girl was like, she'll kill for this person and not snitch on them, and she'll do all this. Y'all know what song? You know that's why Pearl's laughing. Oh God, I hear the song and it won't come
Probably
to
one of
me.
these young girls.
But my point is, if you are in a healthy relationship with a man that is truly leading you properly, he is not going to lead you morally wrong,
I'm not gonna put you in a situation
or
like that.
or legally wrong.
Right.
For
He
that,
won't put you in a situation like that. If he's leading
absolutely,
properly. Yep.
absolutely. Um, a man will lead with reconciliation. We talked about that this evening. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and you try to make it fix it. Okay. And sometimes men do not like saying, I'm sorry, ladies. And that's just the reality of this world, too. Get over it, suck that up, because they're going to show you that they're sorry in their own way. Stop waiting to hear a man tell you they're sorry, because,
And even when we wrong, they will initiate it. Even
yeah,
when we are in the wrong, they will initiate the reconciliation.
yes,
Man.
absolutely.
You had to come up to the camera. Oh man.
No, a man, not a boy.
Right.
Yes.
A man.
A real man. Yes.
A
Take him
man.
up.
A man will lead with service, and again, this is in the home as well as in the community. And lastly, a man will lead through decision making. Um, and so with that being said, he will make sure that your safety is provided for, your needs are provided for, not just financially, but physically, emotionally, holistically. You will be taken
Mentally, yes.
you will be taken care of.
All of them.
But you have to be able to submit meaning allowing yourself to follow and see what happens, because at the end of the day, he is there to be your help meet. Okay. That's a biblical term too, aka helpmate. Pearl was looking at a book I had the other weekend about that, but that's his purpose. He is there, and you are equally there for the purpose of being a helper to one another, empower, inspire, and motivate one another to be greater together than you are when you are apart.
Pause 1 second. I have two things. One,
Yeah.
shout out to Bravado. We're gonna call Bravado our biggest fan. Okay. Shout out to Bravado. Bravado, this is the best live and topic you ladies have ever done. This has been
Thank
very
you.
insightful and triggering terminology. This is what good faith conversation looks like. Congratulations, sincerely, one average brother. You're not average,
You are
Bravado.
not average at all, Bravado.
I need you to edit that. Not at
Great
all.
job.
And then here's a good question I want to share. Did you give us all 9? Doc?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. There's men that like the challenge, but my question is, how long is a man to be patient when trying to lead a woman with trust issues? Asking for a friend, LOL.
Hmm. I think if y'all don't mind me kicking this off, and then we can
Go ahead.
All right, kick it off, sister.
I think that is subjective to you,
That's what I was
because
gonna say.
you Facebook user, you know your tolerance level, you know your patience level, and you know the how it's making you feel. um so honestly, I would lend that to your judgment, because only you can make that decision on how much is enough for you emotionally before you feel like I need to again exit this relationship in order to preserve yourself. Because don't lose yourself trying to hold on or create something or wait for someone to be what they should be.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Doc. I agree. It's based on you. However, when it compromises your peace, it's a no-no. And take it from a person who at one point in my life was a super potential seer. Potential ain't nothing if nothing comes of it. So you have to really ask.
Yeah, but you also have to tell the people what you need, like communicate so that it's comprehended on the other side exactly what you need to make you feel safe in whatever moment or in whatever circumstance y'all have going on. Because sometimes it looks different for some people. It
Yeah.
feels different for some people, and depending on where they are in their therapy journey, they may need a little bit, they may need a lot, but
Yeah.
you'll
But
know
also
from that conversation.
also as a man, as a leader, are you able to communicate your needs as well? Right?
Exactly.
I
When you
need this rebate.
identify your needs. That's a
Yeah,
whole
I think I've experienced that in life, not one specific situation where it's like you should know, like the man felt like you should know, and it's just like, but did you express that to me? Did you express those things? Because sometimes you need that too. Like how Doc said, her man be check it.
That's what you're not
Check,
gonna
check.
do.
I mean, we're all a work in progress, and that's the thing. Is like we're all
Absolutely.
works in progress. So if you're if depending on where you are in your relationship, whether it be in the beginning, whether it be in the middle, whether it be you decide. It depends. It's like the cycle. We all go through relationship cycles, right? And sometimes the longest cycle is that part where it kind of like just goes nice and everything's smooth and there's bumps, but it's like that smooth part. You gotta know what part of the cycle are we in. If the person that you're trying and she still trusts and still has a problem with trust and it may not have anything to do with you as a person. It might be just something else that's going on. If you're not willing to like listen to what it is or try to figure out what it is, then that's that. But at some point you have to choose you. At some point you got to say, okay, this may not be something that I can actually continue to do because it's taken too much from me. And I can't do it. That's where that's one thing about each person has to figure out on their own. But that's so important. I'm not saying bail, because bailing is not, sometimes bailing is really not an option because you love that person that much. But at the same token, there's one person you got to love more than you love anybody, and that's you. So if you could do that, then you might be okay. Yes.
No, listen. I'm digesting.
Sometimes I bring it once or twice, but yes.
Okay. Well, we've made it to our hour, even though I feel like we can get to a whole nother angle on this topic. Are there any final words that you would like to share? I'll start with Tay.
No, this was good. Thank y'all for tuning in. This was it's always a little therapy session when I come on here too. But I really appreciate the subject, and I feel like men don't feel like they're appreciated enough, but here you are appreciated, okay? And that leadership, we're gonna get information, we need a little guidance sometimes, and you just have to show us the way. That's it. Sometimes people like to be a little choked, sometimes people just like to be told. So it just depends on find out what those boundaries are.
The carrot or the stick.
Go with it. Okay, I'm
carrot or the stick.
Miscommunication.
Yeah, listen. Leadership is one of those things where it's like it's something that you actually give. That's the part you have to be able to give. And as long as you're giving and the person that you're with is willing to follow, you will be just fine, young men. Men out there, don't worry. There are women out there that will actually be following right behind you as you lead them to the promised land.
Doc.
Yes, ma'am. So from the good word, 1 Peter. Yep, good word. From the good word, 1 Peter. Let me pull my glasses down. Y'all know how
it is Palm Sunday.
It is Palm Sunday. First Peter chapter 3, verse 7 says, "Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel." Not that she is a weaker person, the
Yep.
weaker vessel. Please
Mhm.
understand the difference. Since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. What we don't want
Mm.
to do is hinder our blessings. And so, women, when we don't allow our men to lead, we are hindering a whole lot of blessings that could potentially be coming into our lives and into our households and into our relationships in marriage.
That's that she muted herself. She just dropped the whole mic. Okay. I would like to echo everyone here. I think this was a very good conversation. An hour sometimes is just not enough. I think what was here that I think we often don't see is accountability. And we all took a moment to be accountable for things that we've learned, things of that nature. Leadership looks different for everybody. And we have to acknowledge what we're missing that makes us less of a follower, what makes us less of a leader. Leading in love can take you to places that fighting back and forth doesn't. I think the most important thing that I've learned or was reminded of is men, we need you. Women, our men need us too. And we are so much better if we are working together, if we're evenly yoked, instead of what we're doing now, which we are constantly criticizing each other, tearing each other down. And you have men out here that don't feel appreciated and loved, and you have women that do not feel valued and loved. And so we're all lost in the sauce because we're trying to be right instead of coming together and making it right. Right. And so that's where the lack of leadership comes for me. But what do I know? Right. So I say all that to say thank you for joining us, the ladies, on the experience. If you have not, please take this moment out to like, subscribe, share. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on TikTok. We got shorts on TikTok. Check us out on Facebook Live. We just are always talking, always sharing, always having these vulnerable moments. We are talking the talk that we should be having on a regular basis. Grab a friend, a homie, a girlfriend, have a talk, because you just never can communicate too much, especially when we're trying to grow stronger together and not apart. So on that note, I hope you have a wonderful evening here from our experience family to your experience. Thanks for joining us. We're out. Bye.
Later.